Welcome to Integration Excellence, the podcast around enterprise integration and interface management. We explore topics related to integration in the SAP world and beyond. My name is Adam Kivon. I am an SAP integration expert, book author, trainer, and founder of White Paper Interface Design. Enjoy! All right, welcome everyone to the first episode in 2026, and welcome Sebastian.
Hi, Adam.
Hi. Sebastian, how's it going? How's our first recording? It's been a while. Finally we made it to come together again and then make another recording.
Yeah, which is very good in the new year. So yeah, you said it's been a while. I think it's over 2 or 3 months, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think a lot happened. We have a new year. So after vacation right now, with the very snowy days, our days in the north, which is unusual for us, but yeah. We will do the best out of it.
Definitely. Yeah, there is a lot of snow out there today, but yeah, it's also good to be here and be in a cozy warm room recording.
Absolutely.
So in the meantime, we had some nice events actually where we've been. I think the two major events were SAP TechEd and Microsoft Ignite, right? So actually, I visited the SAP TechEd in Berlin, and you, Sebastian, you were at the Microsoft Ignite, which was, but this time it was not on site; it was a remote conference, right?
Both. So
Okay.
it was Ignite was in San Francisco, but I was not on site. I followed from my home, so from remote. And a lot of new stuff arrived already, and is also arriving in the near future. So maybe if you want, I can start with some news around Azure integration services. So. One sad news for all BizTalk developers is that Microsoft officially announced right now that BizTalk Server BizTalk Server 2020 will be the final version of BizTalk Server. So the hope is gone that there is a follow-up version. So in April 28, the support will end, and there's an extended support until April 2030. If you're running right now on BizTalk Server, you may need to think about the successor, which is Logic Apps, which is officially announced from Microsoft right now. So this is BizTalk end of life, and there are so many other new things. So I picked my favorites here. As you know, you can build AI agents with a Logic App standard. And on Ignite, Microsoft also announced the public preview for AI agents with the consumption-based Logic Apps. So that means you can scale to 0, so with no cost, but you can also have the ability to build AI agents which are consumption-based, so pay-per-use as you want. And Microsoft also built capabilities around MCP. So MCP support in Logic Apps is growing. One major thing is from your Logic Apps, you can, your Logic Apps can act as MCP server. So that means you can use an MCP client and then connect to your integrations, which are in Logic Apps. And these integrations acts as an MCP server. So that means that the workflows inside of the Logic app can be used as MCP tools, which is very cool. And I recorded a video about that, and I think the link will be in the description. So if you want to see it, then you can check it out.
Yeah, that's really cool, because I saw actually a session at the SAP TechEd. It was from someone at Microsoft. I don't remember the name, but I guess you for sure know who that might be. But the point was, you can apparently provide a MCP server out of API management in Azure already.
Yeah,
out of the box, it can be translated. Especially
right.
if it's an OData API, where a lot of things are very suitable for MCP because it is a very descriptive API, right? So this is a good news that also Logic Apps can actually do that and then provide this MCP functionality.
Which is very cool feature. If you want to see it in action, then there's a video
Cool.
and where you can see it. And I think you maybe it was Holger Bruchelt from
Yes,
Microsoft
exactly.
who showed that. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, this is the capability you can. So the OData services from SAP can be exposed inside of API management, and then you can set you want this API as an MCP server, and this is very cool. So you can configure your MCP server, and you do not need to create the JSON file so that this would be exposed as an MCP server. Then, so this is out of the box when you want. Yeah. And it's also possible to close the MCP loop here. Inside of the AI agent, which you can build in Logic Apps, it was only possible to connect to tools, but now you can also connect inside of the AI agent to MCP servers itself. So you can specify an MCP server, and the agent is able to collect or to select the right tool for the given context. Which this is also new, very cool feature. And the last thing to sum up here is that Logic Apps standard comes with a new designer. And in this designer, you can now create sticky notes and write Markdown documentation inside of the workflow, which makes it easier when it comes to very difficult or complicated workflows. You are able, or you have the capability to add some nodes inside of the workflow directly, which is very cool.
That is
very
really,
handy.
really cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
yeah, especially, there is always the fight between the developers, the hardcore developers who prefer code, where you can comment everything and then put comments into the code, right? But you have to read the code. And then, the more visual people with low code, and then pretending that visualization is enough to explain how it works, right? But as soon as it gets more tricky, and this can happen along not only with AI agents, but also with regular integrations, this is a really good feature. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hope,
really
cool.
like it. So this is very handy, because as you know, low code becomes complex, and then it's much more easier to have a sticky note, or you write some markdown elements there, and then it's clear what you want to express in the workflow. Yeah.
Nice.
But there's so much more, but you will find the link in the description here, so then you can follow up all the news or all the news from Ignite. But these are some of the highlights for me. So
very good.
But I'm really sure you have a lot of stuff at TechEd.
Well, yes. I mean, there was a lot. Also, a lot of things that were basically known already. One I mentioned, but this was not even planned to mention. So, of course, it's all about AI, right? So SAP announced a lot of stuff, even though even with this with their own language model RPT. So some announcements have been made. Looking at integration, or especially at the integration suite, there was also a strong focus on AI topics, right? So which component can do what, and some announcements have been made, especially also MCP gateway support, of course, along with API management in the integration suite. And then, some auto generation features. I have added also a link into the show notes regarding this innovation guide, which has been released. So, the innovation guide lists all the different announcements of this period, especially around Sapphire and TechEd. But in the Q4 it was about TechEd, of course. And what I personally liked a lot was there are some hands-on sessions always in the TechEd. So that's the biggest differentiator between attending sessions online, just consuming what is new, and then also going in and then experiencing and exploring yourself, yeah, by going through walkthrough scenarios. So I liked a lot a session about TPM. It was a very extended session, how to deal with TPM, yeah, B2B integration, using the integration advisor, going very deep into all the mappings and the whole chain of flow. And the preparation was amazing. So I was not able to finalize it, even though I had good, let's say, skills, ingoing skills. But Gunther Stuhetz, who created this content, he also said himself, like, if he would execute it, it would take him like 1.5 hours. So it
Okay.
was not really planned to be executed completely, but it was really good. So it's always worth to play it through as well, and go through the sessions. But one other session was very nice, was that also LinaX now has an MCP server which can be consumed, and then you could basically also, assuming that all your knowledge about applications and maybe also interfaces is in LinaX, you can also connect it with agents and then using the MCP server functionality of LinaX. So there is,
So
a
this
lot
this
of,
sounds really cool. So you can
yeah,
ask questions to LinaX about integrations, right? Yeah,
exactly.
that's
Or
cool. Yeah.
the entire landscape, the
Mhm.
you know, the as is, the to be, the whatever is around in the content, and yeah, of course, the results are only as good as the data.
Mhm.
So I
As
always
always.
personally say, you have to make sure that you automate this somehow. Yeah, so feeding the applications from a CMDB, for example, making sure that this is up to date, and then also the integrations, right? Making sure that they end up in LinaX
Mhm.
properly and not only manually maintained, right? Ideally
Yeah.
through an automation.
Yeah, it's so important, and I think we will see it when we are come to our main topic here. We
Yeah,
how important proper documentation is
as
through
well, of
the
course.
integration field.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share. So basically, not much in particular, but a lot
Mhm.
of things in general around AI, also around, of course, modernization, how SAP calls it. Yeah, the sunsetting of PO is around for everyone. So like BizTalk is
Mhm.
going to be
Yeah.
replaced by Logic Apps. Also, PO is going to be replaced by Integration Suite. We see sometimes also customers moving from one to the other. Yeah, so moving from PO to Logic Apps or
Mhm.
to Azure Functions or whatsoever. And very likely there are also customers moving some of the content from the Azure, from the BizTalk world into maybe SAP Integration Suite,
Yeah.
right? But
It's the same for us. So yeah. I think that BizTalk is dying is not new for the most of us, but the special thing here is that Microsoft didn't officially announce it before,
mhm,
and
mhm.
now it was the time that Microsoft for the first time officially announced that BizTalk 2020 is the last or the final version of it. So
Okay,
that
so that
makes
was,
that thing so special right now.
okay, okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
SAP in the past always was sunsetting things. We remember the Business Connector, and then there was enough pressure from the customers to keep it going, to
Mhm.
even update it to a newer version. But I think also this time NetWeaver is going to be ending for sure. Yeah, extended support as well in 30 related to the Oracle JDK that will
Mhm.
be not renewed to the newer version, which is technically almost impossible to rewrite all the code. So there are strong limitations. And then the longer you run it, the more vulnerable you are going to be, right? So
Mhm.
companies
Yeah.
have no choice than moving away.
Yeah, absolutely. So on one side, it's sad because mostly 20 years you're working with a cool software,
Mm.
and you learned a lot of it and build your career on it, and then something new comes in.
Yeah,
But
true.
yeah, that's okay. That's
But
the truth.
ideally, it's the better version of the predecessor in
Absolutely,
both
it's the
ways.
successor.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think that brings us to our main topic of today, right? So
Yes.
yeah, we asked ourselves. So we often talk about technology when it comes to enterprise integration, but the success of enterprise integration depends always on many people, people or personas which are also involved in the enterprise integration stuff, so to say. And Adam, you wrote a very cool blog post about it. I think we can say that because it's cool. And yeah, let's talk about that, personas in enterprise integration.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, this is I had a long conversation with ChatGPT back then, and very interesting things came out. So of course, I have my personal opinion and my experience, and you as well, Sebastian.
Mm-hmm.
And we will share this. But so this is not only based on ChatGPT's perspective, but it reflects our common perspective. And when we speak about integrations, also when we speak about migration of platforms, the hardest thing is not the technology switch. The hardest thing is to make sure that we have everyone in the loop. We test it properly, and so the rebuilding is I would say, smaller part of the entire exercise. And that's why all the accelerators that are there in the market are great. Yeah, but if there was an accelerator to automatically inform the parties involved and make sure that testing data is available and can be retested and stuff, it would be even better. And that is the hard part, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone needs to be in the same migration boat,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
to say. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I'm completely with you. So the technology is not the hardest part. So I think the organization to bring all together, and especially in a migration project, which is very not an easy one. It sounds easy, but it's very hard because new things are coming, and you are migrating the old stuff to a new platform. So you need some persons who take responsibility of it, and I think the overall integration owner is a very important person or role
Mm. Yeah.
inside of a project, because this is where all comes together, right? So I think an integration owner needs to be in every integration project or in every company who is doing enterprise integration.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So the first persona I try to highlight as a group is in fact three personas, right? So if we speak about the integration manager or the integration team lead or the platform owner, many times this is the same person, the same natural person in the organization. But depending on the size of the company, it can be multiple personas. Yeah? So there can be, for example, the integration manager who is owning the entire integration domain. Yeah, all technologies related to enterprise integration, be it Kafka, be it Azure, be it SAP, be it whatever, and then responsible for the strategy, for the execution, as well for the governance of the entire integration function, let's say, right, or the
Mm-hmm.
integration discipline. I sometimes call it also the chief integration officer. Yeah. But I know as well that oftentimes this persona is not really existing in the companies,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more realistic that you have a platform owner. Yeah. Even if you have a company that is having for example, Azure and SAP for integration topics, you have typically two owners for that, one for the Azure world and one for the SAP world, right? For the integration topic, and even two team leads or even more team leads, depending on the size, who are managing the resources, managing the delivery of integrations along with those technologies, right? So it's not really that organizations are assigning the task of, solve this enterprise integration topic for me, but rather they assign it to experts of technologies, and have a technology-oriented organization as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said before, many companies are switching from BizTalk to SAP and others from SAP to Microsoft. So, and then you automatically need a person that has knowledge in this platform, because otherwise it will not be a success, or you won't success with your migration if you are completely new. This is my opinion. So you need someone who has already worked with some of the platforms. So I think we are in the same boat when I say you do not need that internally, but you can also have this externally from an external consultancy, for example, who takes this role.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that doesn't mean that those are all always internal positions, right, or roles. But yeah, the more serious you take the topic and the bigger you are as an organization, the more likely is that you are also internalizing this topic over time. Yeah, temporarily it might make sense also to have someone external helping you on that topic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know from customers, they have these roles side by side. So there's an internal and an external, and they work together, and then they bridge all the gaps, and then they can work on the success of the enterprise integration.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I always recommend to have a kind of, sparring partner, a coach, whatever, right? To support someone. Then you are not like, blind to your own organization, but also you get, nice inputs from the outside, what's going on and what is available in the market, what is a good standard, what is a good practice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that summarizes quite well this one big area of personas. Yeah, someone who's responsible for integration in the company or a part of the integration domain in the company, and more related to strategy, governance, standard compliance, and even team performance. Yeah. Those are the interesting parts for this persona. And then I think we have two other personas which are also sometimes combined in one human many times, which is the integration architect and the integration developer or integration expert. Again, the bigger the organization is, the more likely this is going to be separated, right? So the developer is basically building the stuff. The developer is coding or designing or implementing. Yeah, maybe even testing, doing proper, error handling, allowing the deployment and testing of the integration content, right? Be it a queue, a topic, a proxy, an app, whatsoever needed for the deployment. And the architect usually is the one who thinks it through or pre-selects the technologies, thinks of it in an end-to-end perspective, very process and business-oriented, scenario-oriented.
So it's more of a solution design, right? So
yeah,
and also the owner of the solution design, and which then the integration developer is living into fulfill all these processes or the requirements of these integrations.
Yeah. Yeah, and from my experience, I would say many times this is done by the same person, yeah, architecting and building or developing. But it is very good, and we also work with organizations who do this. They have a kind of a weekly meeting where they discuss all the new integrations, yeah, in a bigger round, and all the integration developers are part of it. So are part of also the solution design, the architecture of the thing, and then it will be decided all together how the solution will be built and how it's going to be implemented, and then finally someone takes the backlog item and then implements the integration in the system, whatever was selected, right, according to the skill set as well. Yeah, so I would also say that an integration architect should have a broader knowledge about multiple technologies, like with the kind of a T shape. Yeah, maybe going deeper into one technology, but at least having a bigger view on multiple technologies at the same time. Whereas an integration developer oftentimes only lives in one particular technology or world and
Yeah.
is an expert to build things in there, right?
Yeah, I fully agree on that. Yeah. So I think the developer is more the expert in one area, where the architect is more the expert of a broader area, as you said. So I think this is exactly, where I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say those three enterprise integration roles are the key roles. But let's not forget operations. And sometimes developers are, forced due to the lack of resources or due to whatever decisions, also to monitor and provide operations. But ideally, this is separated. Ideally, this at least what we. I mean, I don't know if you agree, Sebastian.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, in most, I can tell you from my own experience, if you are working in a project and you are the integration developer, you are the first person who is asked, who will be asked if something is not running. So you are the first, the second, and also the third level supporter in this case. And in the most cases, when you shipped something to production, and maybe you have an SLA from development to operations, then you give it over to operations. So you ship it to production, and operation now is responsible for it. Then we'll see that support is an own role. So exactly as you said here, which is then the support expert, for example, which takes care of all what happened in production. And so then the support expert is responsible to monitor all the message flows, for example, the queues, the connectors, the APIs, all the stuff we need to build these enterprise integration. And then the support engineer is also responsible for resolving these incidents. For sure, he cannot do it alone. He needs some support from the integration developer then, in most cases, I would say, because when it's not on a technical stuff, maybe easy one, network firewall is down and nothing is running. That's an easy one for a support expert. But I'm sure what happens the most is that the business changes rapidly and the integrations are not that fast, and so you have to deal with different data and so on, and then the support expert cannot do any resolving on this. So then he needs the integration developer. So I think, as you said, sometimes it's a role that the integration developer is owning as well. But when it is in production, then and there's an own support team for that, then I think they work closely together to resolve incidents.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I think most importantly here is that all integrations are monitored properly. So because only then you are able to identify problems. I think that's the key.
Yeah. No, I mean, operations is really can be really tough. Yeah, and the better it's thought through as well from a development point of view, the more easy it is to monitor. But sometimes you have no chance, right? Things are simply
Absolutely.
breaking. Other data is arriving than has been tested. More data is coming than expected. So that can always happen, right?
Yeah.
I would also agree. Connectivity topics are the simple things, and they are ideal to be resolved by the operations team, or sometimes we call it AMS team, application monitoring service. And refreshing credentials, replacing certificates, changing host names, IP addresses, whatsoever. That I would say is the simple part. The harder part is adjusting the flow, adjusting the mapping, adjusting the logic of integration, replacing an API. This then is a routing back to the development.
Mhm.
But then, the responsibility and the control lies within the support expert, who is also has to deal with SLAs and ticketing systems that are involved.
Absolutely,
Yeah. So that is really, I would say, okay, those four are the major roles in enterprise integration.
Yeah. Then yeah. Fully agree on that. Yeah. So, and I know from some of our customers or from our project. So there's an evolving count of evolving count of APIs and so on, and APIs are bundled to products, and then you have multiple API managements, maybe API center for the governance and so on. So, and then I guess it makes sense to have a role like the API product manager or the API owners who are responsible to shape the APIs, versioning, and so on. And I think API lifecycle is a good word here for that. When it to have stable APIs, because we all know it in the integration space. If you have moving APIs, then you have moving integrations, and this is not stable. So you need stable API versions. You need stable data contracts to make stable integrations on that. And especially with the evolving amount of AI. An AI model, for example, is also reachable via HTTP, and HTTP is API, so to say, a lot of APIs. So that means that someone needs to be in response for the AI as well. So because these are APIs which are live somewhere in your own environment, or for example in Microsoft Foundry or on SAP, but they are living on, and they need to be exposed somewhere to get so that someone get access to it. So that's I think the important part. But I think this is luxury to have an API product manager. So I think it's more of a role that someone from the mentioned role will take care of.
Yeah, I would also say it's rather an additional responsibility for a person who is doing things, and I personally don't see an API owner as part of an integration team, because even if you have an API management function in the organization and you have an API gateway and an API developer portal, and this is managed by an API management team. Usually they are never the owners of APIs, because they are only, bringing the foundation for the API management. But the API providers are usually coming from from the business. Yeah, so they are usually also the process owners or the let's say the application owners, the application experts, which brings us already to the next role. But I still thought it's a good idea to separate this role a little bit for APIs in particular, and also this explains the difference between, for example, a logic app or an integration flow on SAP. This can never be owned by someone from the business unless it's maybe a very, very simple citizen integrator like integration. Most of the times you have someone responsible for that in the integration team, right? So it's rather a question of responsibility here than anything else. And implementing the API is again a different story. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Genau.
So I think it's then mostly we are talking about domains, for example, a production domain or logistics domain, and then I guess you mean someone from the logistics. Now we have this API in logistics, and this logistics API will the owner is logistics itself, the domain logistics, and then it will be exposed or published into a central API management. So I guess this is the idea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And API management, as you said, is a platform which you only need once. That it doesn't mean that logistic needs its own API management and production needs its own API management. In most cases, there's one API management. Yeah, all the APIs are published or exposed into the central API management.
Exactly. Yeah, and many times such an API owner or product manager is, as well as I mentioned, the business process owner or the expert. Application owner is maybe already too big, because an application owner is a persona who is responsible, let's say, for logistics as a domain itself, or maybe EWM in SAP as a specific logistics application, right? And within that role or within that domain or application, there are people dealing and being responsible for APIs. But even if there are no APIs, if integration is event-driven, if integration is, even file based or whatever,
shared database.
Yeah, exactly. Even then, you need a clear responsibility from someone in the business who is usually not IT, and well knowing that there are integrations going on with the application, with whatever logistics, finance, sales, wherever you are dealing with, and they also need to have transparency, right? They have to know about what's going on, and they are usually also informed if things are breaking and not working well. And this specific role within this business-oriented persona can be a citizen integrator. This is a very difficult term, because citizen integrator can be someone in the business, can be also someone in the IT, I would say, who is not an integration expert. So for sure, this persona is not an integration expert. But the way of doing the automation is so simple, or with such a small learning curve, that you can do it, like, for example, configuring standard content coming from SAP for integration suite, or doing something on Microsoft Power Automate, like a low-code environment for end users, right?
And I think this is great that the business can build their own integration when it's easy, as you said, with no technical knowledge involved. Because in most cases, integration is the bottleneck, because there are so many requirements, or the amount of requirements against integration is rising. And when you have an easy one or a low-hanging fruit for the business, then I think it's good to have a decentralized integration, to that the business is able to create their own integrations, and the integration team do the hard technical work, or the hard technical parts of the integration. So that I think this is good. So yeah, and the tools like I think SAP Build is also a very good example of that.
True. Yeah, as part of the BTP as well. Yeah. Process
as part
automation.
Of the BTP, right.
Yeah. So now we have covered 6 already. Still 4 to go, but those are usually. This we can definitely walk through faster. So we have a specific persona for security-related topics, for data topics. So those 2, I would say, are already based on the name. It's clear what is their focus. Yeah, it's secure integration is important for them. So knowing and enforcing, ensuring that the proper authentication and also authorization models are being used and in place.
I have a funny story here, maybe to tell. You can have the best concept, the best integration concept, and when you involve security too late, then security can say no to your concept. So you have put a lot of work into your concept, and so I think security is important to get involved very early in the design phase of the project. So this is what I want to give you as an advice, because otherwise it's very hard to get security requirements afterwards in the concept, to put without putting a lot of effort again.
And I would say the times are over where we have replicated files with FTP, encrypted with basic authentication. Sorry.
Absolutely. This is over. Yeah, as you said. Fully agree.
And I would say for every industry, this is over. And there are things coming like NIS2 right now that enforce you as an organization as well to make sure that you are secure in many ways. And there is also a digital war going on outside, and cybersecurity is becoming more and more important for sure.
Absolutely. So
and also data is quite important. So being responsible for data models, data replication, data streaming, also dealing with data catalogs, data lakes maybe. So this is also important from a data centric perspective to have someone involved and have a clear naming of responsibilities.
From understanding. So I'm sure understanding is the most common problem when it comes to. So maybe you have an easy data mapping. It seems to be an easy data mapping, but then you need to understand the target or the source. This is very hard, and then it's very good to have a data engineer or a data architect who is very familiar with this data, and then it's mostly the time then it is very easy to solve the mapping.
Because definitely,
I know from my experience, most of the data contracts are not documented very well. So this is very hard to pick the right fields out of it. And then it's very good to have a data architect or data engineer in the team or in the enterprise. You can ask to get the answers.
Let's see how long it takes until the language models are able to auto communicate and make sure that they are kind of understanding the semantics behind each field and auto mapping everything without humans. I'm sure that this time will come. I'm not sure if I will still see it, but I think yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really sure that this will coming.
Yeah. Good. Then, what is another important role in enterprise integration is enterprise architects. Yeah, an enterprise architect is a specific role. Um, it's sometimes located in IT, sometimes outside of IT. It varies from company to company. And usually, if you have a enterprise architecture management solution like LeanIX from SAP or um, Louis or B360 or Ado IT or whatever, yeah, all those kind of solutions are managed by an enterprise architect
Mhm.
or a group of enterprise architects. Yeah, so I learned also the bigger the organization, the more enterprise architects they have
Support
as
they
well.
have. Yeah.
Yeah, who are also very strategically working, and there can be different realities. Let's say some are
Mhm.
really living in a totally isolated ivory tower. Doing some fancy stuff nobody understands, and some are really down to earth, hands on, and really interconnected with execution of transformations, with enforcing target architectures, being involved in governance processes, making sure that integration strategies are executed, and sometimes also they are influencing integration strategies a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think the most important part aligned with the business goals, right? So
Yeah.
this is, I think, one of the most important things that the enterprise architect needs to be aware of
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
set the goals,
Definitely.
or set the IT goals to fulfill the business goals.
Yeah. 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 And be the bridge between business and
Yeah,
IT,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
which is
Very
always
important.
hard. Huh?
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, definitely. So again, enterprise architect is also, historically, I would say this persona has been working a lot on an application level, yeah, managing application portfolios, planning the sunset and the rise of specific applications. But I see a strong tendency where also integration comes into their play, where they are also interested in what's going on, how is it going to be, how is it part of the design process and the development process of integrations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to maybe to add something here, I think enterprise architect is very important when it comes to the whole IT application landscape, because the enterprise architect tries to minimize the systems which are involved in the whole IT landscape. And because I know from business, they are also purchasing system licenses. Then you have the system here, the cloud system there. Here is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
software as a service, and this needs to be aligned with the enterprise architect to not have too much systems out of scope of the
Mhm.
enterprise,
Yeah,
because yeah, it's fun to integrate all this system, but it's not fun to be also the supporter of this.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
And it
True.
even comes more harder when the people who buy it or purchase these programs leave the company. Then
Mhm.
you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's true. That's true. Oh yes, oh yes. Yeah. So making applications visible in the EAM is key, and a strong business case as well for
Mhm.
purchasing a license for LeanIX or other
Mhm.
EAM tools,
Mhm.
because then you have the chance to manage them, to identify duplicates, duplicate licensing, and so on. Yeah. So being a central point of the portfolio is a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. It seems that this costs a lot of money, but it also saves a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There is
yeah,
nothing is for free, huh?
yeah, absolutely.
But there is always a
Yeah,
good reason for having specific solutions for specific questions, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So then, oh my God, we are already over time, at least over our own planned time, but we only have one more persona to walk through. And this is a project manager or an IT project manager, because usually, business-oriented project managers are not so interested in integrations.
Which keeps also an eye of the time, right? The
Yeah,
IT
yeah,
project
yeah.
manager.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. A good timekeeper, goalkeeper, making sure that the resources and budgets are in line, and the delivery is working well, right? But I think everyone who made a integration related IT project knows how hard it is to also deliver good projects related to integrations in time, in budget. And this is, the more complex the integration scenario is, and the more APIs or interfaces are being used and built, the harder it gets. But they definitely have a need for status updates, visibility, knowing what's going on, how has been
Absolutely.
things delivered, and what are the KPIs on the go till we reach that point that we can test SITs and whatsoever, and then for sure go lives. Huh?
I think the project manager, maybe to summarize here, is the glue between all the other personas which are involved in the integration project. So I think this is the busiest person.
Can be, definitely can be. If this is assigned to some project manager, sometimes we have interfaces that are just built like that without any project context. This can also happen, right? So yeah, I think that brings us to an end, to the 10 roles. I hope we covered all what we wanted to say about this, but I think it's a quite complete perspective on the topic. And maybe we come back to one or the other role more in detail in particular. But I think for now we should be good, right?
Yeah, I think we are good. So I think these are the most personas which are involved in integration projects. So maybe it varies from, or as you mentioned, it varies from company size and projects maybe. But I think this is the most important personas here. Yeah.
Okay, then.
All right.
Thanks for listening. Thanks, Sebastian, for the nice conversation. I think we did have a great time, and we catch up soon. I hope not waiting for a month again.
Month, a long time. So
rather weeks than months. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Adam, as well, and thanks for listening, and see you or hear you next time.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How mature is your organization when it comes to integration topics? Find out for free with our integration maturity assessment at wint.co/IMA. That's WHINT.co/IMA. In case you want to take control of your integration landscape to increase transparency and automate your integration quality processes, please schedule a call at wint.co/contact. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe to our podcast. See you next time.